Oh, wait, no longer greatness has arrived. Welcome to episode 290 of The Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast made by the players for the players. I'm your host, Joseph, aka Mr. Badbit, and it is here where me and my best friend Kyle talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. Of course, this week, we're chatting all about the massive GTA 6 and 2K leaks. We're going to be talking about the rumored PlayStation 5 redesign with a detachable disc drive. We're going to be talking about how it's finally revealed, it's official, an Iron Man game made from the Motive EA crew is real, it's here. Ooh-wee. We're going to be talking about the PSVR2 and the highlights of it, the cool tech behind it, but also the massive controversy that follows it, and so much more. And with all that said, with all that out of the way, the greatest co-host, whoever is, whoever will be, Mr. Kyle Stevenson. How are you, sir?
I'm doing pretty okay, Joe.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm doing okay.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
The cold didn't take you.
No, it did not.
Are you in like the eye of the storm where you think you're getting better, so that you go and do something and the day after you're gonna regret it?
Tough to say. So I stayed home Monday, Tuesday, just because I felt like crap. And,
Sure.
you know me. I think people know me. That also made me feel worse because I'm missing out on the money that
That's
I
right.
desperately need to pay the bills. So went to work today. I don't feel like I'm coming out of it like I'm in the eye of the storm.
Yeah.
Like I'm more afraid that it started my sinuses, like really bad pressure in my sinuses. And like a real funny thing is I blew my nose, or I sneezed on Monday, and it was so pressurized that air squeaked out of my eye.
No
Have you ever
way.
had that happen before?
Never. I think you may be dying, Kyle.
I had some air like leak out. That's how much
What?
pressure I had. Oh yeah, that happens.
That happens?
Yeah, you've never seen people drink milk and then squirt out of their eye. It's all connected.
No, that is that.
Listen,
I actually think you
that's
just described witchcraft.
That is a strange part of YouTube. You're welcome, everybody.
Oh my God. Okay. Is that with the ASMR people?
Yeah, absolutely.
No judgment, but y'all are freaks out there.
I really badly just want to start like tickling the mic right now for everyone at home.
Just like saying like something really creepy in the mic, like, but then like in a soft tone, like ooey gooey, like something like
peanut butter.
Oh, I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh no.
But where I was going was it started in my sinuses.
Yes.
But now I can feel it going lower. And if it hits my chest, I know it's going to be a rough go.
Yeah. No.
So I'm fingers crossed.
All right. I got you.
Taking the vitamins, drinking lots of water. I know it's just a viral cold. Like
it's
not antibiotics. It's not going to help anything.
Humble brag.
It is. Yeah.
Just a viral cold. Kyle, I got a question for you. There was some really bad news over the week that isn't PlayStation related, but we saw multiple outlets just have massive layoffs, whether it's G4, whether it's Future, and Fanbite. First and foremost, our thoughts go to all those who are affected. But it got me thinking, Kyle, what is the future of game coverage going to look like? Like we saw these a boon of this, like the independent, website or the independent YouTuber or whatnot, the enthusiast coverage. I want to pick your brain here, man. Do you think we're in a good place in terms of coverage right now? Where do you feel it's going? Before we get into all the PlayStation stuff, I feel like
I honestly feel, and I think the layoffs absolutely suck. They're awful.
Because like Future in particular laid off like I think like a dozen plus of their staff, and it wasn't like they were doing bad. They're gonna post like record profit. What I was
gonna bring up.
Nuts.
Yeah. When you really look into it and you feel like, oh, they're making a ton of money, and then they lay off an entire staff and cite budget reasons. Okay, well, whatever.
Yeah.
That sucks. But I do feel like when it comes to games coverage, I really do think it's super strong.
Yeah.
Like it would have been if this was back like when we were kids, right? And we would strictly only rely on GamePro magazine, Game Informer, IGN, GameSpot. If one of those were to fall, that would be devastating.
Yeah.
the fact that again, terrible that the layoffs happened this past weekend. There are so many places to get your video game news from, to specialists like us here on podcasts. There are specialists that are only Nintendo news websites and YouTube channels. There are YouTube channels that cover everything. I really do feel like games coverage is in a very strong place, but I also feel like a lot of the higher ups or the games people in the industry need to do a better job of reaching out to different people.
Yes,
like us. Like, don't put all your eggs into one basket, right? Like, reach out, get different perspectives, lean into the people that have been carrying and doing this on our own free time because we love it so much. As a way to, like, it's a no-brainer. Like, support the people that love your things. I don't know.
There are so many like bright stars out there that are doing really great work. Like, real talk, I hate giving this man credit, but like Luke Lore, we're gonna be bringing up a story. He literally breaks news in the industry constantly, and to see that, like, he's not in more places is mind-boggling. So like there are so many.
Or they write about the news story and then don't credit him
at all.
And
it's just like that. A, that's disrespectful, but like B, it's like it sucks because there is so much talent out there that you're right. Like some of the like there are a few really great people out there. Like, shout out to Jonathan Dornbush that go out and give us chances and all that. Like, there are great people that are.
By the way, Naughty Dog job.
Hey, congratulations! Like, it's awesome, but there's not enough of Jonathans out there, and it's an incredibly big gamble when you do that too. The way I see enthusiast coverage right now for me is it really is like, there's so many great people out there. We're like, good friend of the show, Ainsley Bowden over at Season Gaming and his crew. They do fantastic work. And, then you could go over to Console Creatures and there's something for you. And then you could go over to Carpool Gaming and there's something for you. Like, I feel like it's not just specialized in what people are covering, but like who's covering it. Like there's something, there's a demographic for you, which is awesome. But at the same exact time, the conversation, I feel like, and the investigative quote unquote journalism isn't being done by the folks that have the journalistic integrity, but are being done by folks that want the clout, like the Dan Allen Gaming of the world. And that's where I have trouble, because we do have to report, like, if there's Silent Hill stuff, we do have to kind of report it because we're a PlayStation show, right? And, these people kind of get to create the narrative or bend it. And then when things turn out to be hokum or not true or whatever, we get mad at the company, and we should be holding the creator responsible for that. So to me,
case in point, PlayStation Showcase, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's coming. Here's a date."
And
then we're mad at Sony. We're not mad at the people getting our hopes up.
Exactly, and I feel like we're defining the lines as we go, but I have a feeling it will get better as the industry itself becomes more and more agnostic. So like, to me, the future where PlayStation's just an app and you get to click on it when you want, and Xbox is just an app, you get to click on it when you want. Like, that future, I think you're going to see less of the console war stuff, I hope, and more of just like the honest coverage of games and the people that make them. That's kind of where I see it. So I'm optimistic, but I'm trying to be realistic as well, because we also have the tendency of, like, if it bleeds, it leads.
Sure.
It makes me a little sad. Anyway, listen. All that stuff aside, it's time to talk about some PlayStation. But before we do, a little bit of housekeeping. Of course, September 24th, join us over at twitch.tv/PS Trophy Room. It's
For real this time.
For real this time. It's a Trophy Room community stream day. We'll be streaming games like the Fortnite new season. Am I going to try to get Spider-Gwen? You bet your darn butt I am. We're going to be playing games like Multiverses. Am I going to kick your butt as Wonder Woman? Of course I am. We're going to play Brawlhalla, right? Is that what the... No. What's the one where everybody's wrestling?
Multiverses?
No,
Or
that's
Rumbleverse?
Rumbleverse. Sorry, so many verses. Go play some Rumbleverses, some Fall Guys, and of course, in honor of our good friend Bobby Pauls, the Nintendo Guru, we'll be streaming some Splatoon 3, and I get to murk all of you guys as a kid and then a squid and then a kid and a squid and a kid and a squid, and I don't take any prisoners.
Wow.
It's gonna be a fun day of community and friendship. September 24th, noon. 12 hours. Maybe it'll be on Patreon. Maybe there's some giveaways of little games called Horizon Forbidden West. Ever heard of it?
Ooh.
Who knows? Join us. Find out. And of course, I'd like to thank our amazing patrons over at patreon.com/PSRoofroom. It's like what we say each and every week. The reason why we look so good, sound so great, is because of your generosity over at patreon.com/PSRoofroom. Trophy Room. I want to thank our newest patron, Jonas Young. I want to thank our platinum producers, Todd Burowitz and Toxic. I want to thank our gold members, Too Soon, Gavin Gottfried, Jose Jimenez, Jedi Master and Metal Kirby, Stephen Flesh, Doss Simon the Pie Man, Chaotic Monkey, Enigma, and Strubles and Bits. I want to thank our Silver Plus members, Awesome Dave, Hyde Indoors, Nagachaka, Marcus O'Neill, JB the Purple Monkey, J. Dust Von Metal, Tim Ulf, Justin Rodriguez, Cypher Primus, Captain Logan, Brenton Zachary, K. Grimm, Rick Arrington, Dewane Raksha, The Good Sir, Mr. and Mrs. Nasty Boots, Strelish, Foolish Fuji, Annie Dagnail, Kevin Mitchell, Kevin Diaz, Lord Commander Corgi, Elo 2032, Jinx the 37th, Bubboy N7, Jesse Garcia, Hambone, Aztec King, Millennial Falcon Gaming, Stone Cold E.T., Astronaut Jr., not to be confused with Astronaut Senior, Green Gorilla Gamer, Katie Stubbs, M9 Prime, Sean McKenzie, and Johnson, Final Fan XZ, Enigma, Androzo, Lambchop93, and Vitate Tatted. Thank you all for supporting us. And again, if we ever got you through a long car ride, a tough day at work, whatever your case is, whatever your situation may be, it really does help us out if you throw us a buck our way over at patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. And let me tell you something. We got some announcements on Saturday that it's only possible because of your generosity over at Patreon. So thank you all so much. It's the reason why we're not shilling purple mattresses, because there's bacteria in them that will give you lung cancer. And because, you know,
is that true?
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, God.
There's little dust mites in them. They're little, remember we talked about it on the show. There's little, like, they can't, there's little dust, like, if you have a purple mattress, I think you need to burn it. Yo, legally,
let's cross that name off our potential sponsor list in the future.
You know how, like, Sean Capri and the friends at Carpool Gaming, they're like, oh, let's try to get people to, like follow us, like, McDonald's Canada. No, us, it's like, how about we get brands to never associate with us? Over things we've heard secondhand.
Hearsay. Hey, Bob at work told me about these dust mites, this purple mattress.
I don't know if it's true, but I'll tell my audience of thousands about it. But
it's gotta be true.
That's right.
He's a grown man. He wouldn't lie to me.
Brought to you by Mattress Firm. Use promo code Purple Sucks at checkout.
Oh, use promo code Dust Mites.
That's right. Jesus. All right. Before there's a lawyer that takes this whole show down, and he probably couldn't. Honestly, rightfully so.
Please don't. It's a joke.
No, I'm serious. It's time to square up the news.
Oh, first bit of news that needs to be squared up comes from Jason Faulkner over at PS Lifestyle. PSVR2 won't be backwards compatible with original PSVR games. PlayStation Senior Vice President of Platform Experience, Hideaki Nishino, confirmed the news in an interview on the official PlayStation podcast. Sony has dodged the question about the PSVR2 supporting backward compatibility for original PSVR games since it announced the headset. Fortunately, we finally got an answer during episode 439 of the official PlayStation podcast. Quote, while I have you here, I've been getting some questions from some friends and some gamers just about whether or not they might be able to play original PSVR games on PSVR 2. So what say you? Nishino responds, PSVR games are not compatible with PSVR 2 because PSVR 2 is designed to deliver a truly next-generation VR experience. PSVR has much more advanced features like an all-new controller with haptic feedback, adaptive triggers, and inside-out tracking eye tracking in it. 3D audio is coming and HDR, of course, end quote. Nishino didn't get into particulars, but it sounds like there are one of two issues with PSVR2 backward compatibility: hardware issues and, of course, software issues.
Vitate Tatted writes in, and if I ever mispronounce your name, just let me know in the DMs. I'm gonna get right on it because I feel like I'm butchering your name. But shiny sign up, sir. Hardware issue. Sorry, and he writes in via the Patreon. Sorry, he writes in via the Trophy Room Discord. If I could get things right, they write in saying the hardware itself could be so different from the PSVR original that there's just no way to implement backwards compatibility. We've seen Sony run into the same problem with the PS4 and PS5 lacking backward compatibility with the PS3. So do you think all will be forgiven with the PSVR 2 not being backwards compatible if it launches with some grade A titles? I've never owned a PSVR 1, so I'm not sure what titles people would be upset by not being still able to play or carry over. That being said, the uproar of folks being upset is not surprising. Anytime a new console is announced, and whether it's backwards compatible or not, there's a 100% chance that there's going to be at least some outcry. Shiny side up, Devante aka Vitate Tatted. This is a great question, Kyle.
Mm-hmm.
First, I want to know your thoughts on PSVR 2 not being backwards compatible with PSVR 1.
It sucks.
Yeah?
I hate it.
Why?
It's why I think VR is a very strong and important part of VR to a new VR user is having a strong library to play on day one.
Sure.
And I feel like with VR2, leaving out all the PSVR 1 games just out. I'm not saying all need to be available.
Sure.
But just like some of the heavy hitters like Ascherbot, Moss Book 1, just being able to be played day one. Here you go. Blood and Truth. Oh, there you go. A game I will probably never get to experience now. Now that backwards compatibility is not a thing.
Yeah.
So it's things like that where it's a missed opportunity. When you come out here and you say, yeah, PSVR games are not compatible and it's black and white, that's it, end of story. No even like no comments of like, well, we're looking into it. No, it's just not happening. It's a bummer. I'm worried, and this is me, probably making a molehill out of an anthill type of situation. They're doing PSVR 2 like the Vita. They're just like they're making this really cool thing, and then eventually they're just going to let it die. And then they're going to blame us for not supporting it when these kind of bonehead things are, in my opinion, bonehead decisions are being said out loud.
It's kind of like what I said last week. I was like, man, it feels so good to be a PlayStation fan. We got some good news, titles to be excited about, but wait until Jim Ryan says something dumb. And it only took him 3 days, y'all. It only took him 3 days. And that's
he listens to the show.
He listens. He's like, Jim's like, gotta write something down, something about my cats. But like to me, I think what sucks the most is the messaging. Because it's like highlighted here, PSVR 2 is designed to deliver a truly next-gen experience for VR. Okay. So like isn't the PS5 offering a next-gen experience? It could play PS4 games.
Yeah.
Like
you're telling me the VR2 controllers is simply just not a DualSense in 2?
I mean, to me, their excuse sucks because it's just like, oh, PSVR 2 is just way cooler. Like it's wearing a backwards cap and sunglasses, and that's why it's not being able to play PSVR 1 games. Yeah. It's dumb. Like the excuse is silly.
They are they're saying PSVR 2 is like back in the 90s when we were watching like First Kid and they're playing VR in the mall.
Yeah.
And be like, look, there's a really cool experience that you can only get here and it's gonna cost you thousands of dollars.
Yeah, and it's like it's on a stand. Remember like the Virtual Boy? It's on a stand and you have to like bend your neck and give yourself scoliosis.
I was so excited to play that, and then I played and my eyes burned out of my head.
It's all red like fake. You're seeing like a snake.
My eyeballs now are fake. I played Virtual Boy. It's
took your eyes.
Bad decision.
But like for me, it's really the messaging, because the reason kind of from what I've heard, both of on the enthusiast side and from people that make these things, is like it really comes down to the hardware / software, because the way PSVR was coded is not like how it's coded for PC or the Meta experience, where games, for example, Beat Saber is coded in a way where it only allows one input, which is how the PSVR sees, which is via the camera that points to the light bars. And because that is such a different experience or different input, or they didn't have to think about gyroscope features in these headsets or cameras in the headset themselves, these different ways of playing in VR, because they were just solely making it for one VR headset, they didn't put other inputs that you could put in. So you could play it on a different headset besides your PSVR 1. So that's the true reason, is it's simply not in that port's code that allows the different, functionality or the different inputs that you're using. But is that a good excuse? I don't think so. Not if you're a game like Beat Saber, not if you're a game like, I don't know, like Blood and Truth or Firewall, 0 Hour, these big games that got these big highlights and money thrown at it by Sony. I think it's a better excuse if you're a small title or a small indie team. Like if you're a Ghost Giant, it makes sense, because you don't have the budget to put in this code. It's not like you're going back to the mainframe of the code itself and just going boop, 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 done.
Yeah. Like I'm trying to remember the dev that does the simulator games.
Yeah.
Like Job Simulator and Vacation Simulator.
But it's not like that. So again, like the big games, I would understand if not all games are backwards compatible, but at least give us the upgrade path. At least go, hey, listen, there will be a version of Beat Saber for you. And yes, it is free, because the thing that you're screwing over is the people that are your day ones, the people that were with you, the ride or dies, the people that bought all the Beat Saber DLC, like myself, like my Linkin Park, discography trapped. Yeah. Mm-hmm. That really sucks.
I mean, the fact
that Sony needs to find a solution for it, because you're $1 billion company. I'm sorry.
Yeah, the fact that our Resident Evil Village is getting VR support for VR2.
Yeah.
But the reason, or the biggest reason within the first year PSVR 1, RE7, that VR mode is not confirmed to come to PSVR 2 yet. Yeah. So like you play Village, you're like, oh man, this is really cool. Let me experience 7 now. Nope. Now that I have a headset. You just can't do that. Moss Book 2, right? Coming out on PSVR 2, or a release window, I think is what they said.
Yeah.
The fact that you can't play the first Moss is wild to me on VR 2. That doesn't make any sense at all.
It doesn't. And that's the thing that hurts. And to me, it's just the way that they're talking to us about it. So this actually leads into the next question from Anna Hudak that writes, simply, obviously, people would have been upset no matter what. But do you think there would have been less backlash if Sony had been upfront from the beginning? That's part one of their question. Anna, you're 100% right. I feel like the reason why PSVR 1 wasn't so successful, but we understood the assignment with PSVR 1 was like Shuhei came out and they go, listen, this is a new tech. We're going to make mistakes with it. And we don't know the future of this thing. We're taking an investment on this. This is a really big risk for us, but this is PS1 to us. And whatever the next generation, if there is, it's PSVR 2, it would be the RPS2, all that type of stuff. So like the problem that I have here is they're talking to us like they're trying to talk to everybody. And by trying to talk to everybody, you talk to nobody. The people that own PSVR 1 headsets are the nerds like us, right? Are the diehards that are listening to the show. That's who's buying this. That's who's the day one. And by trying to talk to us like it's just too cool, just harms you. It's just dumb. Silly. Okay, now the second portion. Sorry for that rant. Do you think this will harm the adoption of PSVR 2 for people who already own the first, since they won't be able to bring their libraries with them? the reason why I focus on owners of the first PSVR is because, frankly, I don't think people who are new to PSVR care very much. And as long as it's a steady output of new games to the PSVR2, or sorry, and as long as there's a steady output of new games to PSVR2, or am I wrong about that?
Yeah,
I think there's a point there. Sure.
there is a point there. I don't think you're wrong about that. If there is a steady output of new games for VR2 or a steady output of updates to the older games, I don't think it's going to be a huge problem.
Yeah.
But to the people that own PSVR1, it's a big problem. Like when you look at the fancy like minute and a half, 2 minute, like
Mm-hmm.
here's the cool PSVR2 and here's everything it does that I think went out today or yesterday.
Yeah, today.
They only show off like
3 games.
three or four things. They show off Horizon Call of the Mountain, which you should. We don't know how big that game is. That could be an Arkham VR situation, like 4 hours long. Who knows? They show off the Firewall sequel, which is like a Rainbow Six Siege multiplayer first-person shooter game. You show No Man's Sky in VR, which is cool. And then I think there's RE Village for a brief moment.
For a brief second. Yeah.
But like that's four games on launch. 2, like No Man's Sky is going to be an update, right? PS4, unless it's got its own SKU.
And that's the thing.
Same Village. Is that going to get PSVR2 going to get its own SKU?
I mean, I kind of think so. Like M9 Prime also writes in. Here's the thing. Kind of goes in with this. Since PSVR1 games are not getting compatible with PSVR2, do you think that these games will be quote unquote remastered for PSVR2? If so, what games would you like to see come to PSVR2 from PSVR1? Honestly, M9, I'd like to see most of them come back.
Yeah,
but you know. I hope it's just an update. Like No Man's Sky, I think will be like a free upgrade because they've been really great about that.
Yeah,
like even their VR upgrade themselves was free, so that would be free. But like Resident Evil Village, I don't know. I honestly, God, don't know. So that's the thing that kind of scares me. As a PSVR1 owner, I'm taking a look at I'm at the will of a corporation's mercy in terms of will you give me an upgrade to Beat Saber, or do I have to buy the game all over again and then I get the DLC, or will I have to buy the DLC from scratch? Is there this weird meta login that I need to use? That's the stuff that really scares me there, because I'm at the mercy of Capcom. I have Resident Evil Village, but you're gonna probably charge me again. That's my fear. You know?
It's the same thing. Like, I own Moss Book 1. I would like to just use that on my new thing.
Sure.
Not have to rebuy it. Same thing with Job Simulator, Vacation Simulator. I want to play Astrobot Rescue Mission on PSVR 2.
Yeah. I feel like it's Sony needs to come out and go, listen, this is not backwards compatible, but there's enhanced editions coming.
Sure. Yeah.
Even if it's pay $5, little man, put that shit in my hand.
Yeah, I mean,
give us an option, because I feel like you're not stranding PSVR 2 to me, Kyle. You're stranding PSVR 1 owners.
Yeah.
You're saying, hey, to play these games all again, rewire your goddamn PlayStation again, hook this thing up, and
it's a little bit of
it's like use 2 headsets to play the library games in VR. It's very strange to me. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Feel free to tell me if I'm off base here, but it feels like Sony is straight up saying, haha, sucker, you fell for it. You bought PSVR 1. You are our test subjects.
Yeah, kind of.
You're lab rats. You tested it out. Ha ha ha. Fool, shame on you. You have to buy this whole new thing and not get all the games you love on PSVR.
But here's the thing, Kyle. If they were literally more upfront about it in terms of not to say you're hoo-ha, but
sure.
More hey guys, listen, remember when we told you we made some mistakes? Well, we did. But not be and you have to pay for it. But listen, the input has completely changed. The tech behind PSVR has completely changed.
Hey, give us reasons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Give us the technical reason why this doesn't make sense, rather than PSVR 2 is way too cool. It's no. Even Shuhei had to do a little bit of damage control by saying, hey, indies are actually going to be taking more risks with VR than ever before. Like
Mhm.
games are going to be incredibly more ambitious on PSVR2 than PSVR1. And look, people's first reaction to this headset, it is overwhelmingly positive. Like
Yeah.
people are blown away by the tech demos that they're seeing and playing, and they are saying that this is next gen VR. And I would just like a better reasoning as to, again, the games that I hate to say matter, but like the games that matter, I want to like Beat Saber is mine. That's why I talk so much about it.
Yeah.
Like, but like Astrobot, like tell me there's a way to get some of these. Tell me there's an upgrade path, and I think I'd be way more down.
Like
This.
the last time, like the other big quote unquote issue with backwards compatibility is PS3 to PS4, and we're still dealing with that now.
Yeah.
The only difference is we understood that because they were like, hey, the cell processor is making this completely either too hard or impossible, whatever.
Also, you made the same mistake again. Jesus.
Yeah, well, that and like the reasons you give me for why PSVR 1 games won't work with PSVR 2 doesn't line up with something that I feel gives it a reason for them not being able to be used on VR2.
Absolutely. And like I do feel like games that are like Firewall, 0 Hour, Ultra, like from what people are saying, like it sounds like that's a 1.5 rather than a true sequel. And that's what I also fear. It's like people are gonna put Ultra behind their title, and then it's gonna be like, and here's the difference. This is why you're paying $40 extra. Yep. And again, it's not that simple, and I totally get that. But the consumer doesn't care. You know? Like and what I mean by that is like all these devs, these indie devs, the target or the base of PSVR is just the few millions, right? It's not the tens of millions. It's like 5-ish plus is the number, right? I feel like you're just screwing over the most dedicated audience by a move like this. But I think PlayStation's ultimate goal is, but we think this thing is going to hit the tens of millions that we never thought this thing was going to do anyway, or PSVR 1 was going to do. We think we are going to reach the masses with this.
And I hope so.
But to me, if you're a hardcore fan, and the long and short of it, if you're a hardcore fan, I understand why this stings. It stings me. It bothers me. But if you're a PSVR 2, like you're getting hyped for it, you never had a PSVR 1, none of this even phases you.
Yeah, no. But I on the happier side of things.
Yeah.
Go if you haven't seen the side by sides of the new Star Wars game, PSVR 2 compared to Quest.
It's
night and day. Yeah. I'm like, that makes me so excited to eventually pay for another PS5, but it's just gonna be PSVR 2.
And we're such little silly geeses because
exactly, we're talking all how upset I am and whatever. I'm buying it day one.
It's hypocritical, but like they know. Like,
exactly, they got us.
It's disappointing.
Got the diehards, and it hurts that they got it. It got us
exactly. And again, to me, my biggest problem is the messaging. Talk to us like it's the hardcore. Like, make me understand why this isn't the case. Not like because it's too cool. Just tell me, hey, listen, the way PSVR 1 games were coded, it's you can't replicate it. Sure, just tell us that, and I think we would have been way better off. That's just how I feel.
I mean, just I before we move on, the thing that just makes me laugh about their reasonings is like, oh, an all new controller with haptic feedback, cool. I use my DualSense when I play PS4 games.
Yeah.
So like, how is that going to affect my way to play PSVR?
Yeah. Just tell me the way this camera works and the way the last camera works.
Exactly.
They don't talk to each other. And there's no way to replicate a light bar. Give me
Mark
controller.
Cerny in that black room and just at
talk
least to me for 15 minutes about my ears and why.
Exactly.
He wants my eyeballs now. I don't know. Just talk to me about why they're different.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Kyle. Now it's time to talk about probably one of the craziest stories this year. Take it away, sir.
Also, this title made me second guess what this was really about, and I'll tell you afterwards. Andy Robinson over at BGC writes, Uber in contact with the FBI over potential GTA 6 hacker. Transport tech giant Uber has said in its contact with the FBI and U.S. Department of Justice regarding the culprit of a recent security breach, which is potentially the same hacker behind Rockstar's GTA 6 leak. And what will likely go down as one of the games industry's most high-profile data leaks ever. More than an hour of Grand Theft Auto 6 development footage was published on Sunday via an anonymous user posting on the GTA Forums website. The anonymous user claimed they had obtained the leaked assets via an internal Slack channel and that they were also behind a recent Uber data breach, which also had Slack at its center. While it's not confirmed if the attacker did indeed perform both the GTA and Uber hacks, the latter released a statement on Monday acknowledging the potential link. Uber said it believes that its attacker or attackers are affiliated with a hacking group called Lapsus Money Sign. Unless it's just Lapsus and the money sign is another S. I digress. Which has been increasingly active over the last year. Quote, this group typically uses similar techniques to target technology companies, and in 2022 alone has breached Microsoft, Cisco, Samsung, NVIDIA, and Okta, among others, end quote, Uber's statement reads. Earlier on Monday, Rockstar's parent company Take-Two publicly acknowledged the GTA leak and claimed that it had, quote, taken steps to isolate and contain this incident, end quote.
Ooh-wee. There was a great question on a Discord. I failed to bring this up. And my apologies, whoever wrote it in. I'm the big dum-dum. But they said something along the lines of, first off, this poster, very coy. It sounded... It kind of sounded like they found this on the subway, kind of like similar to the Tomb Raider leaks. Hey, I got this thing. I say I have 90 other pieces of footage, and I'm gonna drop it soon, right? Mm-hmm. And it's just like, what? Like they already showed screenshots, videos. Like you have an idea of what the city looks like, what the characters may look like, and just a whole bunch of lines of code. Of course, I'm not a developer, so it just looks like the Matrix to me. But they're like, and there's more to come. Maybe I'll leak more of it. Maybe 2K wants to give me a big giant money via Venmo. It's like, really? That was your tactic, Venmo?
Yeah, you think that's gonna work?
Is it? You got your personal info on that? Like, what the hell? Like, what?
Yeah.
Okay. But
to me, that tells me that this is a child or someone that does not understand how things are linked to you.
It sounds like someone who's going to go to prison for life, you know?
Yes. The Dementors, they're coming for you.
The worst thing about prison, man. But then here's the thing. The internet talks, man, and the internet sucks. First off, you got people yelling at developers because, Kyle, this build of the game from 2019 doesn't look good.
How dare they?
And as you know, graphics are the first thing that devs work on.
Absolutely.
My uncle at Nintendo told me that. He's like, that's the first thing we work on.
It's gotta look pretty first and foremost.
Yep. It can't be functional. It has
colors.
Pretty colors. 4K rendered, HDR.
Give me that HDR, baby.
All of it. It's really ludicrous. Because you just have armchair developers talking to one of the most skilled developers out there.
Yes.
About how to make their game.
Uh-huh.
And it's like, if you knew anything,
whether you love it or hate it, you can't look at Red Dead 2 and be like, they don't know how to make a game.
Exactly. Like you're foolish.
And I love how since this this leak, which is terrible, it's awful. People who are yelling at devs over the state of
you're a piece of shit
development game, you are a piece of shit. No bleeping needed there.
No bleeping needed.
I love how some devs are be like, oh yeah, look at all these high profile games and put dev pictures out. Like I saw Uncharted 4, I think some screenshots of it being in dev, and Nate's in T-pose, and it's all grayscale, and the truck scene is just, it looks like a Matchbox car. Like it's to me that's fascinating because I see that and then the finished product and I'm like, whoa, how did they get from here to there? Like it blows my mind. It makes me excited about what video games are in the first place. So the fact that these people leaked it for whatever reason, but then everyone on the outside just take this moment to be assholes.
Yeah.
It hurts.
I saw one comment. It's like, well, the game. This is a 3-year-old build. I saw what I saw. It didn't look great. It's like, what?
Okay, cool.
It's it's like you walked into like a Toyota factory, saw the frame of a RAV4, go, that car drives like. It's like, what are you talking about? It's crazy to me. And so, like, to me, first off, be decent to people. This sucks. They wanted to show this game on their own terms, it being finished, or a nice vertical slice of the idea of. But the second thing is, like, I love the solidarity that, like, other developers, you're right, like Naughty Dog artists have shown their, like, rough renders. There's a God of War one that
Spidey
I loved it. Spider-Man, yep. It's like, here's a clip of what it looked like versus what it's the finished product. It's like, God damn, you guys are wizards. One of my favorite ones was Cult of the Lamb. And they tweeted, they quote tweeted that guy that's like, graphics are usually the first thing done. So I get to say things dumb and out of my ass. So that's what I like. This person is going to get caught. Because it's crazy that the federal government is just, the FBI was just like, hey, y'all, we're looking into this.
Yeah.
So, like, if this is a solo act, dude, you're done.
Oh, you're done.
You're done. There's no special master that can help you here, dude.
No, you're going to jail, and then you're going to owe in fines equivalent to all the money GTA 5 ever made.
Yeah,
like that's how much you're going to have to pay Take-Two Interactive.
It's gonna be wild. You sound like a robot to me on my end, but don't worry, you sound.
Oh, really? Oh,
okay.
Uber. The thing I loved about this story, though, Joe.
Yeah.
When I read the title, while you were, I guess, yelling downstairs, I think your family was being loud. That's why when I was said it.
Did you hear him?
No. Okay. But I mentioned how when I first saw this title of the story, I was like, this is not what I thought the body of the story would be. To me, it sounded like Uber inserted themselves as like the hero of the story.
Yeah.
We'll catch this hacker. Uber in contact with the FBI. Okay. Right. All right, Uber. Whatever.
Okay, well here's a question from N. Johnson. They write in.
Yeah.
Hope you guys are doing well this week. I'm doing fantastic. As a novice, I know almost nothing about game development, same here, but I do understand more about the PR and HR side of things. With the GTA code being stolen, do you think the PR team at Rockstar had a good response for the incident? Do you think they set a precedent for future hackers and leakers? I saw like the hey y'all, something totally not cool just happened post on their socials. Yes, I mean there's no. This sucks. Because again, like there's no way around it. I think it's anything they could have put out would have sufficed, right?
Addressing it in any form, I think is good.
But the way they did was great, and they should carry it to the highest form.
Absolutely.
And find that person and really just throw the book at them because it's really shitty. Because again, there are good people getting yelled at for nothing from I'm just gonna say it, losers.
Yep.
That think they know anything just because they sit behind Twitter and have an idea. You know what I mean? Like sometimes don't tweet the thing, dum.
Yeah, no. I would love for the people who are yelling at devs to have some sort of punishment where somebody goes into their daily lives.
Yeah.
Let's say they're cooking or baking a cake.
Sure.
And as soon as they put the dry ingredients together, some other stranger walks in like, this is the worst cake I've ever seen.
Yeah.
How dare cake? Everyone knows the flavor is the first part. You put the frosting on first.
That's right.
It's got to taste good before you bake it.
Yeah, they just go into their work and criticize
exactly.
Them.
Hey, that essay you're writing, it's dog shit.
Yeah.
All you did was write your name. Everyone knows you write your conclusion first.
Exactly. You start at the conclusion first, then you work the thesis.
Come on, please.
I've seen Pulp Fiction. You start at the end and you get to the beginning. But yeah, and the crazy thing too is like they have the source code, rumor has it, of GTA 5 and maybe of 6, but Rockstar's like, this game's development is fine, but then 2K coming out going, you want to, if you're a user of our products, change your passwords ASAP.
Yeah.
I applaud them. They're doing the best they can. It's times like these where I feel actually bad for corporations because this sucks. This sucks. This is millions of dollars and time and effort that could have been sent somewhere else that totally spent trying to battle some dumb nerd with a greedy agenda.
And this is me trying to understand the point of all this already.
Mm-hmm.
Like, did we not already know GTA 6 was in development? Like, what
was the benefit?
What do they get out of leaking GTA 6 under development? It's not like, it is a hidden game or whatever. Like, we kind of already knew
it's a weird power trip. Like think of the guy that's in the news right now, Dan Allen Gaming. Why did he create a separate account to leak things that he had that was told not in confidence but signed NDAs for? Like, why did he make that separate persona? Because he has problems, man. Like, that's why. Because some people are really that sad that, like, the narrative or knowing that you created that narrative means something to you. And that's pretty wild.
They have an addiction problem with clout.
Yes.
And that needs to be taken, I think, a little bit more seriously in the mental health world.
Yeah.
Because that's a newfound thing with social media, and I just don't get it.
I'll say this, and then we'll move literally to the next story. Squidward's father never hugged him. Isn't that sad? Kyle, let's take away to the next story, sir.
I just got hit with a ton of bricks. I don't know where to go with that.
You never. Oh, right. You never.
I don't know SpongeBob.
God, that's sad.
Sorry. I mean, I watched it. It didn't sink in like I think it did.
Well, because like SpongeBob's trying to tell that to Mr. Krabs, and Mr. Krabs just goes right afterwards, well, Squidward could hug himself when he's on his break.
Oh, Mr. Krabs.
And even and as a 6-year-old, it embedded in my brain. I was like, that's the ultimate clapback. I will take this to my grave, of which I will.
Oh man, that's ruthless. Tom Henderson over at Insider Gaming writes, Sony to launch new PlayStation 5 with a detachable disc drive, sources suggest. The PlayStation 5 is set to get a unique overhaul in the middle of fiscal year 2023, with the new console launching around September 2023, says sources. The console, currently named the D chassis PlayStation 5, will have almost identical hardware to the existing consoles already on the market. The most surprising new feature of this new PS5, though, is that the console will have a detachable disc drive. The detachable disc drive will be connected to the PlayStation 5 using an extra USB-C port on the back of the console. It's understood that this new PS5 console will be sold on its own or in a bundle with the detachable disc drive. It's also understood that the disc drives can also be purchased separately, so if it gets busted, there's no need to buy an entirely new console. Sources have implied that although the new detachable disc drive is portable, it will not ruin the aesthetics of the console and will attach to it without looking external, presumably meaning the new PlayStation 5 will look similar to the existing model. Joe,
yes.
This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
Really?
This is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. Just buy a disc drive PS5. There's no excuse now. There's no excuse. I don't want to hear it. That collector's editions don't come with discs.
Okay.
There's no more excuses now.
Okay.
If you wanted to be a physical media person,
you're shouting.
Buy the disc drive. This is dumb.
Really?
It's dumb.
You think this is dumb?
Which digital owner of a digital PS5 is going to be like, you know what I miss? Discs. Let me buy this detachable disc drive. Yeah, you do. You give me all this crap about being a physical media owner and be like, oh, I was stuck in the Stone Age. And now look what's happening. I think this is real dumb.
I kind of think this is cool.
You're real. Oh my God.
I think it's cool. I don't know what, and like all the memes are right. Like the HD DVD, like Xbox tray, like, dude, I can't wait for like something that looks like a little mini PS5 next, like here's dad PS5 next to son. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but like if it's going to look like the disc version of PS5, just buy a disc version of PS5.
Okay, so
What what situation are you going to be like, oh man, I can't wait for Ghost of Tsushima 2? It's going to be
Right.
disc only. That's not going to be a thing. So you're not going to need to get a detachable disc drive. There's still going to be a digital version of it.
He's shouting, everyone. He's shouting.
Hey, listen, you get your rants all the time. I'm on a Kyle rant.
It's fair. Well, okay. Rude Days 93 writes, "Hey guys, with the rumor of the detachable disc drive PS5 on the way, is Sony looking like the company that will embrace the all-digital future first over Xbox, which at the beginning of last gen seemed to be headed seemed to be headed that way much more quickly?" So, Kyle, for me, I think that's what Rude Days here is saying is 100% what Sony's mission is. We've all seen the numbers, right? PlayStation's digital to physical ratio is almost 80%. So if they can push one more little digital console over to you, that is their mission. I think they take a look at the numbers going, yeah, more people are buying the disc drive version, but I think they're buying them out of necessity rather than the digital version. So if we could just boil it down to one SKU that we're selling, so we don't have to make a different chassis for one PS5 than the other, then we're going to do it. And it's going to help our or slim down the cost of this console significantly by just selling that one SKU'd console. And then offering that little disc drive on the side for anybody that maybe has a PS4 game on the physical side of things. But over time, it's going to be just solely, here's this rectangle, no disc drive attached.
Sure.
I think that's what they're going for.
I do think that situation you brought up is a good reason for this. The ones that did go digital PS5 from the start, like you and like friends we know, where they do own PS4 games. I see them behind you.
Yep.
And the fact you cannot play them right now if you wanted to, unless you buy them digitally again, it's a bummer. So this would solve that. This would solve that problem.
Yeah.
I just don't, knowing PlayStation and knowing how they price these what's the word I'm looking for, proprietary hardware things. Like I think of the PS Vita memory card, how ridiculous those prices are.
Oh, sure.
What are they going to price this disc drive at? And is that going to offset the cost of what it would make a disc drive console already?
Yeah.
Right? Like, are they going to be what is the cost saving? How much are they going to be saving if they're going to offer this other completely separate product on the side? You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I totally know what you mean. It seems like, again, you're $1 billion company, but you're penny pinching.
Just raise prices everywhere.
Yeah, exactly. Just raise prices everywhere. Apple didn't do that. Remember, people that were saying, well, just wait for Apple to announce the new iPhone and raise its prices. And they didn't. I'm sorry, that's a pregnant pause for effect. Let it sink in. And then going, well, we need to make it just a little bit cheaper. So here's this one SKU. It's like again, it's weird because it seems like a penny pinching move, but at the same exact time, for me as a consumer, it makes sense because they're seeing the digital future and they're like, it's here. It seems like the overwhelming majority have bought into it. And so let us just make this unified SKU and just have the physical version as the option for folks. So I could see this being, hey, this is the disc drive alone is $100. The console is $400. Slap it together, it's a $500 unit. And what you're saving on by buying the bundled version is you're just saving on the taxes. That's what I'm seeing. But you're right. This new PlayStation is a little weird. So
it's I personally just have a hard time thinking about this as any other way of being like the digital. If I'm thinking about both of the SKUs, right? Yeah. Disc and digital. Disc is just digital with a drive attached already.
Yeah.
So how is this any different than that to begin with?
No, I mean, you're right. And that's why, like, there are some people like...
So you say, like, embracing the digital future. You can still do that with the disc drive in the first place.
And that's pretty much this is their final push to kind of get you through the all digital train. Because I saw some people going, "Whoa, USB-C, this thing's gonna be slow to read this." It's USB-C, guys. It's gonna be super. It's gonna be absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. But you're right. Like getting a disc nowadays, it's really just like it's reading the license on the disc, downloading some of the things that are on the disc, but it's really just going straight to, some satellite dish to download Horizon Forbidden West or whatever.
I will never forget putting in a PS4 disc for the first time on a PS4. Be like, why am I waiting for it to download on my PS4?
Exactly.
Why can't I play this immediately? That is weird.
And so as the future has become more and more digital, you take a look at in streaming, like you take a look at Apple Music, Netflix, Spotify, all that. People are just going strictly digital and they are losing the physical thing. So again, I think to me, this just kind of makes sense. And it's awesome that Sony gives folks or may give folks the option of going back and going, yeah, maybe I wanted to go buy a disc version PS5, but now I actually think I'm going to wait for the little disc drive and then plug that in the back. Like maybe that's something that is available to me now that wouldn't be the case otherwise. So I don't think it's weird, but like it's an exciting weird.
It's not the end all be all. It's just my passion and fire for it is like you're yelling at me being the old fart hanging on to physical stuff, where it's very clearly an important part of their infrastructure still.
It's an important part, but it is waning.
It is, yes, I get that, but it's just like I don't want to hear any more excuses about collector's editions not having a disc in them.
Yeah,
I don't want to hear it anymore.
Sure, I'll still make that argument. It's about the code, and the steelbook is
I don't know.
The album cover that you want more than what you're valuing the album cover more than the disc that was in it. If that makes sense. Now that said, Colin writes in, just like you can too, if you head on over to the Trophy Room Discord server or you at us at PS Trophy Room. They write, good to see Sony maybe making a detachable disc drive for when Joe finally sees the light and realizes physical media is superior.
Yeah, Colin.
I don't know, man. Was Star Wars Andor, was that on disc? No, it's not. It's on Disney Plus, and you should watch it.
It'd be a bummer if that service ever ends, and you will never be able to watch Andor ever again.
Yeah, it would be a bummer if Disney Corporation
I know.
went away in my goddamn lifetime.
I know.
Just
saying.
It'd be a real damn shame if I wanted to watch the original cut of Star Wars and I could only get the 1990 version that's jacked up 300, 400, 500 bucks easy. Real shame.
Just saying.
I listen to music in my car on my phone that I use as my internet and my pornography. The life is a beautiful place.
Wow. Don't ever go on Joe's phone. That's what I just learned.
It's awful. It's really terrifying. It's really terrifying. But just think about the world's so much more convenient because it's all digital. Again, you can now play games on your phone. You could that are awesome. You could watch the internet machine on there. Go on Twitter to see people yell at each other in real time. It's great. It's great. It's great. Kyle, you know what's also great?
Iron Man.
Iron
pretty
Man.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
Tom Ivan over at VGC writes, EA's Motive Studio confirms new single-player Iron Man game. Developed in collaboration with Marvel Games, the single-player third-person action adventure title is currently in the pre-production phase. The game's development team is being led by executive producer Olivier Prol.
Nailed it.
I think, who previously worked on Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy at Eidos Montreal. Quote, we are thrilled to collaborate with the talented team at Motive Studio to bring the original vision of one of Marvel's most important, powerful, and beloved characters, said Marvel Games Vice President and Creative Director Bill Roseman. Their experience delivering both established entertainment worlds and thrilling gameplay. Oh my God, I had a burp stuck in my throat.
Oh my God, that's gross. Are you alive?
Yeah. Oh no, I'm good. I'm trying not to let it go into the mic.
Okay.
Combined with their authentic passion for the armored icon, will fuel our quest to deliver a love letter to a legendary hero in the form of the ultimate Iron Man video game. End quote. Motive, which previously developed Star Wars Squadrons, is currently handling EA's Dead Space remake. EA said the Iron Man project, quote, is the first of several new games being created through a collaboration with Marvel. The company is also reportedly making a single-player open-world Black Panther game. It was recently claimed that the project is in early stages of development at a new studio headed by former Monolith Productions boss Kevin Stevens.
I am Iron Man. Look at me. I shoot lasers out of my hands.
What's this for you, Kyle?
I want a cartoon where you voice Iron Man now.
That's right. It's me,
That's
Tony
right.
Stark.
Pew, pew. Love
Pew,
you
pew, pew.
3000.
That's right. Love you 3000. Mm-hmm. We're not the Revengers. We are the Avengers.
Or Vengers if you watch She-Hulk.
God, it's such a good show.
Oh, good show.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
It's cool.
This is cool, but the first thing as a Star Wars fan I think about, man, this is a lot of licensed IP that EA's working with.
Yeah. It's a lot.
What changed when you had the 10-year deal with Star Wars and you made like 3-ish games out of it versus now you're like, we got an Iron Man project and that's just the first of several.
I think the difference is EA had the rights to Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Marvel is picking studios to
Sure.
do specific IPs.
Sure. And I think like you're taking a look at like, so Motive is exciting. And also part of me is worried because I love Dead Space.
Yeah.
Dead Space remake looks great. Would love to see them go to Dead Space 2, whatever the sequel that they want. Next, if this Iron Man game is huge, I don't get the Dead Space game. Possibly. Or they can just go back and forth. Yeah. It'll be longer to get to that. Well, I mean, why would you go back and forth if you have Iron Man? Like real talk. Like, why would you go back?
Yeah, I get that, but like Dead Space is huge.
But it's Iron Man.
Not Iron Man huge. Yeah.
You know, did Isaac Clarke kill Thanos? Spoilers.
He could have.
Could have. No.
He could have gone for that.
You're right. Actually, you know what? With the plasma cutter,
He could have gone for that. He could have cut that Infinity Gauntlet off like that, and we would have been good.
You're right. Honestly, Isaac Clarke is actually the man for the job here.
Put him in Endgame. I'm telling you, it's
totally different outcome.
Totally different story.
Right as he snaps, it's just like,
yep.
And then boom. Oh my God, you're right. Oof. But like, that's the thing that I worry about. It's like, again, I want more original IP. I don't want just licensed stuff, though. Iron Man's cool. Black Panther's dope. You know, all this is great. Spider-Man's amazing. Yeah. It's just like, that does worry me. There's just a part of me that's just like, please, you have Dead Space. Don't. It looks great. Please don't abandon her. You know, that's what I'm worried about.
Yeah, and I'm still on the train as excited you are for Dead Space. I'm not going to try to discourage your love for Dead Space. I'm going to play it too. I personally am very intrigued and a little nervous of how a team who did Squadrons is going to make a Dead Space game.
I mean, that's
like a non-flying thing where flying is the main component. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, listen, seeing that alpha footage has me on board. Mm-hmm. And, you know, again, we say it almost weekly at this point. Des can go do all
I know.
Sorts of
that's
stuff.
just a small little tiny thing that isn't bad.
Absolutely. You're wrong, but I'll let you have it. The thing that does excite me, and it's what Jedi Master Ren writes in with EA making the first original Iron Man game, do you think they'll utilize the work that BioWare put in for the flight controls with Anthem?
They'd be stupid if they didn't.
So here's the thing. To go off what you just said here, Motive is incredibly talented at locomotion. So not only did they do the Squadron game, which is fantastic in its own right, but Motive also worked on all the Battlefront vehicles. So like all the flying, all like, you know, the AT-ATs, all that stuff, that's all them. Mm-hmm. So when I think of like who can capture flying, the best probably is Motive. They're really good at it.
Mhm.
And then I think of Anthem, and what was the one thing that we constantly said about is like, this was
Feel
an
like
Iron Man game.
Yeah.
Like this would be there's great ideas here to make a great Iron Man game.
Mhm.
So it's like, yeah, you could kind of put some Lego pieces together, but I don't know, Kyle. You think that this Iron Man game is going to use the Frostbite engine? Do you think it's going to go with Unreal?
Ooh. What's Dead Space using?
I believe it is Frostbite, but let me just
Frostbite?
double check while you think about it.
Man, that is a great question. I don't know. They're both impressive in their own rights. I mean, we haven't seen anything. Have we played an Unreal 5 game yet? No, right?
Yeah, technically, like with games like I think like Fortnite's Unreal 5.
Oh, technically, yeah, okay. So I think they'd be fine either way.
It's being built with the Frostbite engine, so yeah,
It
I would
is.
assume it's
Okay.
Frostbite. Yeah,
So yeah, I think it's fine. I think Frostbite is
a beautiful
good.
engine.
It's beautiful. So either way, it's fine by me.
Okay, so I think some benefits with the Frostbite engine is just visually, this thing's going to look gorgeous.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
I think that's one of their biggest sellers here. But from what I recall, and things have definitely changed, is that Frostbite was built with first-person shooters in mind. Games like Battlefield. So when I think about Frostbite, it does get me nervous because I think of Anthem and how much trouble they had trying to get a action RPG working on this engine. But thinking about this Iron Man game and thinking about the lessons learned from Anthem and things that they can pull from Anthem, I think that Disney walked up to EA going, hey, we played Anthem. Sorry, didn't get to 2.0, but we liked what we saw or the promises that were in that game. So if you put in some of the flying mechanics, some of the missile launches that some of the classes had, yeah, I actually think you have something really special here. So yeah, I'm totally in. That said, Green Gorilla Gamer writes in, "Sup boys? Just a warning, big Marvel fan incoming." You're welcome on here.
Yeah.
Iron Man is finally getting the game he deserves, and I'm so excited for it. Iron Man is in the Marvel's Avengers, along with the different version of Spider-Man, Captain America, and Black Panther. All of these characters have their own games in some shape or form. This really excites me that Insomniac could connect Spider-Man 2018 with more heroes. That's what everyone was worried about with Marvel's Avengers coming out, that we weren't going to see those characters interact with Insomniac Spider-Man, further confirming that by introducing their own version of the character. With the amount of Easter eggs in Spider-Man, do you think we'll ever see the Avengers show up? Doctor Strange, Daredevil, all these characters have references of them in the game, and now having multiple properties, there's a high possibility that this could happen. So I don't think.
And then he also adds, will it be EA's Iron Man that pops into the Insomniac universe, or vice versa?
No, you're not going to see EA's Iron Man in Insomniac. Think about this: you have two publishers, two different development studios working with each other. You think about like the art design would have to mimic each other. You want Iron Man to feel like its own piece of art. So like by going, hey, you have to work with the constraints of Insomniac's artistic vision. That's what you have to work with Iron Man. That alone is just a no deal if you're Motive or if you're EA. There's just too many strings attached. So what I would see is like Daredevil. Yeah, you'll see him in Spider-Man. But if Daredevil has his own game, it's going to be a different Daredevil. Same with Doctor Strange. Same with even an Iron Man or a Tony Stank. You know?
Yeah, I think, like you said, I would totally see Daredevil showing up in a Spider-Man game from Insomniac. But if there was ever going to be a separate Daredevil game, that's going to be a different Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, what if, like, real talk? Just in back of my head, like Spider-Man's fighting Kraven or some shit, and like Kraven's like chucks a spear at him, and it's right about to like just impale Spider-Man, but like a nunchuck just hits it out of the way.
Oh man!
And you just see Daredevil just jump in.
Yes, please.
Yeah, that'd be dope as hell.
Yeah.
And like Spider-Man's like, "Who are you?" And he turns, he's like, a really good lawyer, and it's just that would be dope as hell.
Yeah.
But no, I'm excited. I'm excited about this Iron Man project because it seems like the sky's the limits for it.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. What do you think? What would you like to see this game be, though? Would you like to see it like an open world game? Like when you're thinking of this game, is it giving you like a Rogue Squadron vibe?
I've never played Rogue Squadron, so
you're going to hell when you die, Kyle. I just want you to know that. Don't insult me like that.
You know that Star Wars isn't my jam.
I get it. Wands are stupid, but continue.
That's fine. It's whatever at this point. I feel like with Iron Man, it's got to be open world.
Yeah.
You can't have a character flight being its main thing and then constrict him into like a single player hallway going from point A to point B kind of narrative experience. I think he's got to do some flying around from place to place.
I think so. When I think like there was, I think, a Sega game and it was actually pretty good, like an Iron Man game, and it kind of was like not like open world-ish, but like here's a huge hub, here's a base you need to destroy, here's some like weird jets you need to fight. That was really great. And like me thinking of Rogue Squadron, like to me, Iron Man is always flying. I think Iron Man sucks when he's on the ground. Like he's not as interesting. His movements aren't that great. That's why like I do love the PSVR game that I won't get to play, PSVR2.
Yeah.
Of like him just shooting stuff in the sky. Like that was such a cool concept.
My thing though is, I equally want to be in a Tony Stark story.
Fair.
And not just be Iron Man the entire time.
But I don't want it to be like the Spider-Man side missions. I'm in a lab.
No. But yeah, I get you. But like, Joe has a thought popping in.
Kyle, what if you get to make your own Mark suit? Like instead of like just upgrades or whatever, like throughout the story, you build like the Iron Man suit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then like the end game is like, just trick this thing out. Just make your Iron Man the most Iron Man you want. Like have a transmog system too. You get to mix and match. Because think of
and then like upload the schematics for other people to download your Iron Man suit to use in their own game.
God, that's cool, right?
Ooh, that's pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Oh.
Hey, Motive.
We got ideas.
Available. We got some ideas.
Listen, we know how development works, right? Graphics come first, the rest comes later.
Absolutely.
I got you. Slap it together. Can't get to work. I get it. Yeah. But no, this is great. Yeah.
When they say several new games, Marvel with EA, another one potentially being a Black Panther open world single player game. Are we at, I think you alluded to it earlier. Are we at the point where there's too many superhero games? Are we saturated?
It's not like I don't want to be the Debbie Downer. You know, there's too many really cool like superheroes they
rock. Absolutely.
With video games in particular.
100%. I'm going to play every single one.
But I am worried that studios will rely on like
they're leaning too heavily.
Yeah, like Ubisoft's like, give us that Blade game that we say is gonna be a thing. Like, you know, like I don't want like a really talented studio just to be like for Insomniac, for example. I love Insomniac. I can't wait for Wolverine, can't wait for Spider-Man, but I hope they don't turn into just Spider-Man, just Wolverine Factory. I want them to still have their original, you know, give me your Ratchet, give me your Sunset 2. You know?
Absolutely.
There would be something missing if like From Software made, I don't know, like a She-Hulk game. It'd be weird.
Whoa.
You know?
Yeah.
And the twerking would be underpowered. So
I'm just thinking of a FromSoft game, She-Hulk FromSoft game, where the gameplay is like Ace Attorney, and it's a really difficult courtroom battles.
God
where
damn it.
If you don't have the details, you're not getting your client.
Give She-Hulk to Mike Bethel. Give She-Hulk to the Phoenix, right? Like anybody, just oh my God! Like, and that's the other thing too. I want to also see Disney maybe throw some, you know, throw this to like maybe some indie studios as well, like smaller studios, AA. Like it doesn't all have to be these like AAA experiences.
Love an indie Moon Knight game.
Yes.
I would love an indie dev to tackle Moon Knight.
Yeah. Isn't it crazy how Hispanics are carrying Disney Plus? That's all I'll say.
It's amazing.
I know. It's great. That said, Kyle, that's all we got for Iron Man. I'm excited, but yeah, I'm also like, not to say like let's relax on it, but I'm getting a little nervous. I'm a little nervous.
Sure.
There you go. That's all I would say.
And if I'm not mistaken,
and also like, there's been like 3 or 4 games, so like maybe we also need to relax.
Yeah. The only reason I threw that out is like we're getting Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad and Spider-Man 2 and Wolverine, and like there's already a lot like kind of announced at this point.
Sure. As I live and breathe, the Wolverine.
Yeah, and like, is EA going to be a superhero thing now? Like they were a Star Wars thing. Are they now going to be a Marvel thing?
I don't know. Makes you think.
I don't know.
All right, Kyle, that's all the big stories on the list. But before we actually skedaddle out of this news topic as well, it also leads into the last bit of news here. EA CEO Andrew Wilson talked about the missed opportunities in their catalog the last 2 generations. I really liked how candid he was during this conference call, because he's like, "Yeah,
he is human.
He is. Maybe he is. maybe the SIM card was like dislodged for just a second, because he's like, yeah, we miss a lot of opportunities, and I think it goes to show how they've kind of restructured themselves a bit. And the one thing that they talked about too was, and let me try to get the quote here. When it comes to Battlefield and the future of Battlefield, they're still gung-ho on Battlefield. No pun to, sorry for the pun. He quoted by saying, in a world where there may be questions over the future of Call of Duty and what platforms that might be on or might not be on, being platform agnostic and completely cross-platform with Battlefield, I think is a tremendous opportunity. I think it goes to show that I think Andrew Wilson has kind of seen the catalog and go, listen, FIFA is no longer safe. Who knows how long we have Madden for, because there's contracts being negotiated. We can't just rest on our laurels with these 2 franchises. We need to build out this portfolio of, I hate to say it, but games. We can't just rely on Ted Lasso to carry the FIFA brand anymore when we move past it. And seeing them take these risks and sign these deals and actually mean it. But I like what he said about Battlefield, because there is an opportunity, and I think it just goes to show why long-term Call of Duty will not leave PlayStation, is the simple fact of, if they leave PlayStation, to me, Sony just walks on over to EA, knocks on their door going, hey, what cool do you want to do with us, with Battlefield? We're going to partner together. We're going to make this, we're going to be aggressive with Battlefield. That could be a way that maybe PlayStation kind of tries to solder the wound a little bit, or maybe this is EA kind of going, yeah, we can make a deal with PlayStation and be on what is assumingly, because PlayStation is still the most popular platform, and be their flagship for that year. That's something we want to maybe be on. So I don't know. What do you think on this? Because I don't think Battlefield's gonna topple Call of Duty by any means. But
no. Especially after
what do you think of those quotes?
The last entry,
2042. Let's not talk about it.
Okay. Yeah, exactly. Well, exactly. So like, I don't. The only way they have to go is up at this point. So I think Andrew saying this, of course, it makes sense. This is a huge opportunity to fill that major void that is maybe potentially happening. So I think it's a no-brainer. I think this is a great opportunity for PlayStation to force EA to do Bad Company.
Oh,
because that is the one Battlefield game that I actually really do enjoy.
That's fair. That's
so,
a
like,
great game.
Like,
bring
Bad Company back
too.
Yeah, like.
And what if it's just called Bad Company, a Battlefield game? Like,
yes,
shoot, that's why they call me Bad Bad Company. Yeah, that's good.
Oh, now we're flagged.
Yeah. Oh boy.
Demonetized. Oh boy.
Five-finger death punch. They're coming after us, boys. Let's defend ourselves. Yeah, no, that's a great point. Let's bring back Bad Company, please.
Yeah.
All right, now let's move on to some Flash news. It's time for Flash news. Gotta go fast. Gotta run. Oh God, who's behind us? Who knows? All right. Former PlayStation exec Sean Layden joins Tencent. This comes from Ryan Dinsdale, cousin of Tim Dinsdale, home of the Dugdale Dimmy Dome. Sorry, over at IGN. I'm so sorry.
How did I know the moment you read his name?
Sorry.
That is where you were going.
Dimmy Dome.
Oh.
Dinsdale Dimmy Dome. Former PlayStation, these are two Nickelodeon references back to back in this show that half of our audience, like literally the majority of our audience is 35 plus, do not get what I'm saying. I feel hip now. All right. Former PlayStation executive Sean Layden has joined the giant Chinese video game publisher Tencent Games as a strategic advisor. Here's what Sean Layden had to say about it. We're on the epoch. I can't. Epidote? It's a weird word. Defining moment in the video game and interactive entertainment. There are many possible roads ahead, but only a few are profound, broadening, inclusive, identifying, inspiring, and or sustainable. I am thrilled to continue this journey of discovering and thank Tencent for the opportunity. Tencent has become one of the biggest publishers in gaming in recent years and has acquired several studios, including Back 4 Blood developer Turtle Rock Studios and Sackboy, a big adventure sumo group. It also owns League of Legends Riot Games with 40% of Fortnite's Epic Games and 16.2.5% of Elden Ring Studio From Software. Kyle,
Joe.
we talk a lot of crap about Tencent, probably with good cause, but
Yeah.
they got our boy.
They do have Sean.
Why won't he come back?
I don't know.
Honestly, on the outside, this is great because he gets to, he it's an advising role. It's not like
It's a Reggie joining GameStop role.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So at least he gets to advise what games may or may not, or the direction of which, he advises them to take. That's neat. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's as big as what we're all kind of blowing it up to be.
Sure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's gonna come out on stage on a 10-cent digital showcase.
Yeah.
But it's cool that he's back in games.
Absolutely. That said, the next bit of Flash news, Kyle, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Literally 5 minutes ago. Ted Lasso in FIFA 23. Guys, you know how much I love Ted Lasso. You need to watch this show because it just fills you with hope and optimism. This is how big Ted Lasso is becoming. He is in FIFA. The whole team is in FIFA. Roy Kent is in FIFA.
That's really cool.
That's awesome. Awesome. And honestly, Kyle, I've never been more tempted to play a FIFA game. They are going to be the ones I pick, dude.
I am so shocked that this hasn't been like a thing before.
What, like a fake soccer team or
a sports team from movies or TV being put in a game that's not unlocked by like a cheat code.
Yeah.
Like I would love to play as the replacements in Madden. Or like
well, do we get the Mighty Ducks? Oh no, that's an actual team, right?
That's an actual team, but yeah, not the Mighty Ducks players.
Emilio in the stands.
Yeah.
Emilio!
The goalie. Yeah, so like I would love to play of like the New York Knicks in Eddie, which is one of my favorite movies of all time, sports movies.
The Angels in the outfield.
Oh yeah. Give me
Such a
Henry
good-
Rowengartner on the mound from Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
This should be a more common thing with sports games.
Have fun with it, man. All right. Kyle, have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Sony reiterates their stance on PlayStation Plus day one releases, believes in premium launches. This comes from Sammy Barker over at Push Square. And they write, Sony sees PlayStation Plus more as a way to help publishers extend life cycles of their games and not as a means to transform its business model. More and more titles are launching into Microsoft's competitively priced Game Pass service, but indie evangelist Shuhei Yoshida has reiterated that PlayStation believes, quote unquote, in a premium release title instead. He compared the subscription to the theatrical launch of a movie, which eventually reaches new audiences through the later delivery mechanisms. Quote, our approach is like, let's restart. Our approach is we like to help publishers manage the life cycle of a game, he told GameIndustry.biz. It's like when a movie comes out in a theater first and then goes to pay-per-view or streaming or free on television. Every time it generates a new revenue or a broader audience. So in the same kind of way, we believe in a premium release of a title, but 6 months or maybe 12 months after when a game sales comes down, the inclusion of PlayStation Plus can help resurface these games. Shuhei Yoshida admitted there have been exceptions. He believes PlayStation Plus had a significant impact on the success of games like Rocket League and Fall Guys, and has also admitted that Stray, which launched day one on PlayStation Plus Extra, was an anomaly to its approach. But he believes that PlayStation Plus can be used to help elevate the interest in a game when it has new DLC available or a sequel to promote, in quote, we are encouraging publishers to make use of these services when managing the life cycle of their game titles, he said. Kyle.
Yeah.
I agree. I like this approach. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Please
I do too. No, I do too.
Don't shout at me, internet.
I also love how PS Plus has done it for years.
I mean, they just, and here's the thing, it goes back to the point of like
there is no way I would play Bugsnax if it wasn't a PS Plus game day.
Sure.
And it was one of my favorite games of the year.
And I think there's no way a game like God of War exists and it's on a service day one.
Yeah.
I mean, because it is like when we talk about the one and done experiences, you know, take a look at like Xbox's lineup of their games and what games have multiplayer components. Not all of them will. But like, take a look at like, you know, again, like games like Halo Infinite, Forza, Sea of Thieves, State of Decay. All these games have live service elements that keep the longevity of that game going for years on end, similar to what PlayStation's trying to do right now with their 10 live service games. So to me, a game like God of War doesn't just end up on that service day one without there being a portfolio of live service games to back this up. So until that day happens, no, I don't think you would get your Horizons, your God of Wars on that service.
Your Last of Us, your Uncharted's, your Ratchets.
Yeah, and I think the more important thing too here, Kyle, I'm sorry, this is a rant. I didn't know.
You're fine.
Is some games don't need it. Like, remember the one rumor and speculation of Elden Ring? It was going to come on Game Pass, and everybody's, whoa, this is crazy. And Xbox is like, no, it's not. Because Elden Ring sells tens of millions of units at this point. Some games, people are going to pay for it. Some games are events. It's kind of like what we're seeing with Marvel. And you can say it's a bad thing, but Marvel movies get people's butts in seats. And unfortunately, you know, movies like The Northman or, you know, what's like The Million Ways or Nope don't.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a huge problem with the movie industry right now. Is streaming is strangling it, and they're relying on these big blockbusters to somehow work for them, or else they just can them like they did with Batgirl. So, yeah, I kind of like this approach. Sorry, yeah. I'm sorry. Right. Okay. Now the Xbox people are done yelling at me. And again, like I like Game Pass is the best service out there, bar none. It's great. I play Sea of Thieves weekly. It's fantastic. It's good. Just stop yelling. You're too loud already. I hear it. All right. Kyle, have you seen this? Have you heard about this?
Yeah, only every week since we've done this show together.
Yeah, but I forgot the days, so don't worry about it.
Still, I hear about it every week.
Bloodborne remaster must be done by From Software, but they're too busy, says Insider. This comes from Rebecca Smith over at PS5 Style. And you hear the quote over at the Xbox Expansion Pass.
Ooh, what up, Luke?
Go to hell, Luke. All right. One of the most requested PS5 remasters right now is Bloodborne, and alternatively, players would love for the game to be ported to PC, so a new audience can enjoy it. But unfortunately, neither Bloodborne PC port nor a remaster is coming anytime soon, according to industry insider Jeff Grubb, because From Software is the only studio that can make it happen, and they're just too busy right now. All right. So From Software is the developer behind the hugely successful Elden Ring, and that it is taking up all their time at the moment. While no DLC has been announced for the game, despite rumors of false leaks, the team is still, quote-unquote, building up support and updating it, with no time for Bloodborne. Players may be wondering why Sony just doesn't hand the game over to someone else like their other PlayStation Studios PC porting specialists like Nixxes Studio. Grubb told XEP that this was because From Software is the only studio that can work on the game's code. Quote, nothing is happening with Bloodborne right now. While Sony could hire someone to come in and work on that, my understanding, and I could be totally wrong, but my understanding is that From Software built the game in such a way that you couldn't just hire a team to go in there and do the work for them. You'd have to work in conjunction with From Software, and they would have to be there with the keys in hand to unlock the doors of part of the code that's a little bit of spaghetti and a little bit messed up so that they can guide you through it. ... And From Software is just too busy for that right now. Kyle?
Joe?
I still haven't given up hope.
Good. Don't.
Jeff was wrong about, was it the Metroid thing?
Uh-huh.
And he's wrong about this. Saying with confidence, I'm saying with gusto, through all things are possible through the power of confidence. Misplaced it may be, but confidence nonetheless. Kyle, your thoughts?
I mean, I believe one day we will see it.
Yep.
I think it'd be dumb if it wasn't.
Yep.
Everywhere, or a remaster or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right.
That's all I have to say about it.
Okay.
Sorry.
Don't worry about it. I just wanted to, again, it's like what we talked about earlier. I want to shout out my good buddy Luke because he does some great work. He has some good interviews. And listen, at the end of the day, Bloodborne will happen. It will.
Oh, 100%.
It's just a matter of when, not if.
Yeah.
They know, we know.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Hey, Kyle, very quick because,
Yeah, also very quick. Just a tiny little flash news thing I think people should be aware about.
Please.
September 26th is the Last of Us Day, which by the time we record next week will have already happened.
Yep.
So keep an eye out on some really cool Last of Us merch they usually do, and Naughty Dog is pretty good with stuff. So it's usually a blog post, but keep track of Twitter. Naughty Dog will be retweeting it and everything. So
fun fact, actually, here's a little amendum to that as well. People have already found the Last of Us HBO show Twitter account has been created, and that was created last week.
Yeah, we getting a trailer, baby.
I will be surprised if we don't.
Yep.
All right, Kyle, it's time for a segment we don't talk enough about, and I just want to talk a little bit because I'm a little proud of myself. Not gonna lie. Yeah. And we got codes for one of them, and I think it's special, so I really want to gush about this.
Yeah, absolutely.
First off, I said over the weekend I am going to play the Call of Duty beta, Metal Hellsinger, Wulong, and Valkyrie Elysium demos.
Yep.
I've did it, Kyle.
Yes.
All of them. And awesome. I have thoughts.
All right, go for it.
So I'm going to tackle this really fast and then get to the meat, which is Hellsinger.
Okay.
COD beta.
Yep.
I have a lot of issues. I don't think honestly, this game was a day one. It is not.
Oh,
I've seen
really?
I've seen the community really mixed. Like, a lot of people really want this thing to work. There are a lot of issues that people are having with it that the team is pretty defiant on. So some of the things that they are fixing, like my big issue with the Call of Duty beta right now is pretty much how Call of Duty usually works. And it's kind of, I figure maybe my tastes have changed. Maybe I prefer the more arcade run around the map of Black Ops compared to the more quote unquote tactical or slower paced Call of Duty Modern Warfare's. Is the guns, the way that they shoot, first off, the sound is incredible. Sound design in this game is fantastic. Guns sound punchy. They actually sound like weapons being fired. But the one thing that is just awful is the vertical recoil of the gun. So when the gun shoots upwards, the visible recoil that you see makes it so hard to actually look at the target that you're firing. It's kind of like you can't see them. Coupled with the muzzle flare from the gun and the explosion, the gas that actually shoots out of the barrel, it's caught there, and the gunpowder is caught there, and you see the smoke, but the smoke blocks out the person that you're trying to shoot. So it's kind of just a guessing game when you're shooting someone. Where am I shooting? Where am I technically aiming? It's a big problem. I even saw with someone who had like the super ability or the kill streak of unlocking the minigun. When you have it, it's just a plume of smoke. Like you cannot see what's in front of you. The maps are way too small. There's a huge spawn problem that they have where it feels like maps have an A and a C point, but are not big enough to have a B point. But somehow they do. Like it feels really sandwiched, which leads to so much spawn camping. There was times, Kyle, I'm not kidding you, I spawned and got shot from behind. I'm like, what's going on here? It was so
everything you're
frustrating.
saying is exactly why I don't play Call of Duty online.
It's exactly why I left Call of Duty as well. So honestly, I'm going to try to give it another go during the beta. There's some more problems as well. All the problems could be patched out and could be fixed before launch. I hope they really do take the community's concerns, because right now, I'll be real. I'm not nervous that this isn't on our fantasy league. That's all I'm saying.
Is the single player still going to be worth it though? After what you play, like gameplay wise?
I mean, I think the Modern Warfare campaign was the best campaign in recent years.
But yeah, you buy Call of Duty for multiplayer.
But I buy Call of Duty for, just like most people buy Call of Duty for multiplayer. And it's not, Vanguard bad, or I like Black Ops Cold War, but it's very polished, but it has problems.
Sure.
And if they can nail those problems, sweep them away, I think it's going to be better for it.
Gotcha. Okay.
I played a little bit of Wulong. This is the Team Ninja game.
I meant to download it.
This is Neo 3.
Okay.
So if you like Neo and those style of games, you're going to really like this one. This is incredibly difficult. It's a little bit too difficult for me. But if you played Neo, you've played this. So that's all I got to say for it. I didn't get too far. I didn't get to the boss, but this definitely felt like Neo for me. And I just don't like the various different ways you need to dodge and parry is kind of a little bit too much. But if you're into Neo, I would suggest checking out this beta. It ends by the end of the month. Go check it out. Valkyrie Elysium. Kyle, I dig this game.
Hey, sweet.
I got to play the demo. I got to beat the demo. And it very much is a Square action RPG at the end of the day.
Sweet.
Go for it. Play it.
That's awesome.
The demo was fun. And
is it pretty?
I think that's going to be a neat little surprise. That's all I got to say.
Is it pretty?
No, I'll say that. But
right.
I can't describe it well, so I won't, but go play the demo. That's all I can say. The one game that I can describe very well, though, Kyle.
I've heard very good things about this game.
Metal Hell Singer. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about the marriage between, when you're playing Doom and you're like, man, this music kicks ass. What if the rhythm of that song dictated how well you were getting through the crowd of demons? That's Metal Hell Singer. The elevator pitch is like, hey, what if Doom met Thumper, met all these awesome metal bands? That's what this game is. So what you're trying to do each level, first off, picture Doom. That's pretty much what this game is. Really is. You're in hell fighting demons. You're trying to find your voice. You got Troy Baker, who is your talking skull, talking you through it. He kind of sounds like Joel. So we know where Joel went. Um, and you know, with that said, everything is matching to the beat of the song of your choosing. And depending on whether you can find the rhythm or not is how well you're going to succeed in this level. Sure, going through crowds of enemies, you have to think about the approach while you're going through it of like what guns I should switch to, because there's this guy that teleports that slashes me, and I need to think about what weapon I'm going to use for that moment while switching to the shotgun that's going to blow away my opponent's, the easier crowd of enemies. Trying to deal with those things while trying to match the beat to the song. And then at the same exact time, you get an active reload that also goes by the I believe the beat of the song as well. So there's so many things that your hand's doing at the same time that it really does feel like you are going with the song.
Is it overwhelming?
Sometimes, but the best thing about this though is when you pause it, you're not like punished for it. Because I got old man hands and carpal tunnel kicks in pretty easily. Mm-hmm. So I was able to just wring my hands and go back in. Mm-hmm. The one thing that I really like though, Kyle, the boss fights in this game. Have you seen this? Have you heard about this? Reminds me of reminds me of Returnal. You got little ooblets you have to dodge and get out of the way of. It's
dodging
a lot
also
of fun.
On beat?
No, dodging you can just.
It's literally just attacking is what you have to do on beat. Okay.
Yeah, just think of something like Super Hot, almost. How they're coming at you, but with the dodging not.
Another
being a
game
part of
I can't play on VR2.
Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, so Metal Hellsinger, co-provided by them. But man, if it wasn't, I'd still buy this. This is fantastic. It's all original music by fantastic.
I was also going to ask, as the metal fan. Is it like the best metal playlist possible?
It's not like the best metal playlist possible, but it's really
enjoyable.
Good. Yeah, it's really gosh darn good. So
sweet.
Go buy Metal Hellsinger. It's also a very approachable platinum as well. So there's no difficulty setting here. You're in terms of platinum, you could get it on very easy if you want. It's not about that. It's about experiencing the songs. So yeah.
Excuse me, sorry.
How dare you, Kyle?
I'm sorry.
We're having fun here. Have fun.
I know. Oh, we talked about yawning earlier, and now it's all catching up to me.
I'm sorry.
I owed the show $1. I'm sorry. Yeah, it sounds awesome. I also tried to get in some gaming done. So I did. I know I'm part of the problem. I said I wasn't going to do it. I bought the new Madden.
Is it the
football
same shit?
season. It is, and I feel really bad that I spent money on it. I'm really bummed because on the flip side, I also played NBA 2K this year's 2K.
That does not look good. I'm gonna be honest. Just outsider looking in.
Sure, I think again, I only play the career mode. I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the gameplay of that.
Is State Farm guy in it?
He is. Yeah, he is.
No way, he's still in it.
Yeah, of course he is. If you want to know a game of where corporate sponsorships have gone too far, it's NBA 2K.
Of course,
way too far. But when I'm playing the career mode in 2K, I think this year's it's a little too overblown. There is a lot in the hub worlds, which they call a city, where that's where you play multiplayer. You can call next on a court and play with people online, but then there are all these other shops you can go and buy clothes for your character and different transportation vehicles to take you around the city and hairstyles, accessories, and go visit Jake from State Farm and go to the State Farm place and it's a little too much. It's overwhelming, but the basis of that career, I think would work so well for Madden.
Yeah.
So much better than what Madden is this year as far as career
because there's
mode.
No story mode in that, right?
There is. It's a watered down version of Long Shot, which was in the previous couple of Maddens, where there was a story and a narrative. And here you're a vet a few years in, and you get to pick a team, and it's basically how you do in that season, and it's so basic and story stuff intercuts every so often, and it's not really substantial,
Okay.
and it bums me out. So like, I hope NFL gives the license for games over to 2K or other places, because if you can make a NFL 2K with the NBA 2K My Career mode, I have a new front runner for MLB The Show, of something that will take my love of a new daily game for me to play that I'll be just obsessed over.
Fair.
But yeah, I'm getting that sports fix in, and then I finally had the time to sit down with The Last of Us, read part 1. No, I'm not beating it. I'm taking my time with it.
Fair.
It's perfect.
I know.
I know it's not, the full remake people wanted. To me, it's the definitive way to play this game. It's gorgeous. The details in it are incredible. When they throw a bottle into an enemy's face and see the glass shards poking out of their face, it's just like, this is it. This is like, it's perfection. It's my favorite game of all time. I'm enjoying it. I did play the opening 20 minutes, and we all know that opening 20 minutes with the girls watching me play. And I'm like, listen, you're going to see Uncle Kai Kai cry, and just know this moment that is about to happen.
Tell me something I don't know, Kyle.
But like, I literally told them, because they looked at me, he's like, why are you going to cry over a video game? And I think it leads into a bigger discussion of why I think Last of Us hits so hard for so many different people in different ways, of where like Sarah, I see you and Sarah. I see the girls in Sarah. So like, and I'm Joel.
Yeah.
So like, that's why that makes me so sad. And I saw a great thing at the end of Last of Us, the whole Marlene scene. I forgot who tweeted at this, and I should know, but they're like, she's not going to feel anything.
Yeah.
And then they showed the scenes of Sarah and Joel's hands saying like, I know it hurts to her. And like those little things in the writing and the way the story is told is why I love this game so much. So it's incredible. Please play it if you want to, and buy it. But I'm not going to be upset with you if you think it's not worth it. It's fine.
Fair enough. It is so weird because it's like, to me, it's like, this is the definitive version of play. This is one of the most beautiful PS5 games out there.
Yep.
But I don't think you need to buy it at full price. I think you can wait.
Sure.
But like, if you haven't experienced The Last of Us before, this is the way to do it.
Oh yeah.
So it is it's an enigma of a game.
Absolutely.
Or of a remake, that's for sure. All right, Kyle. It's time. I'm sorry. Are you? What am I doing right now? Kyle, are you holding on to something?
I am.
Prepare the drop. Here are the latest steals and deals headed to the PlayStation storefront. This week, September 20th. Arcane on PS4. Construction Simulator on PS5 and PS4. We've gone too far with the simulators.
Hey, have you seen Power Wash is coming to PlayStation? I'm very excited about that one.
Why, guys? Why?
There's something satisfying about that Power Wash game.
Sure. Okay.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
On the show notes, the reason
okay.
I messed up was I accidentally wrote Sony Pony Express instead of Prepare the Drop. All right. Headspace Shipbreaker comes out on PS5 and PS4. Jack Move on PS4. Solstice on PS5 and PS4. This looks like a neat little, like, remember the old DMC games?
Solstice, by the way.
Solstice, sorry. It kind of looks like that. I've seen a few like trailers. It looks neat. I don't know if it's it's not gonna win any awards, but I think it's.
I know Hardspace Shipbreaker is one of the year's best reviewed games.
Oh, really?
And it's finally out on PlayStation. So that's another like very heavy sim game from what I know of it.
Sure.
But you're in space.
I love space.
And you're dealing with a space station. Yeah.
On September 22nd, One Shot World Machine Edition on PS4. Potion Permit on PS5, PS4. Prison Tycoon Under New Management on PS5, PS4. Yikes. Serial Cleaners comes out on PS5, PS4. Session comes out on PS5, PS4. That's a skating game, right? That's like Skate, if I'm not mistaken. It takes.
Yes, sorry, I was blowing my nose.
How dare you? Spider Heck comes out on
yeah.
PS5, PS4.
Great game.
Diofield Chronicle comes out on PS5, PS4. Train Life, a runaway simulator. Again, guys, what are we doing? PS5, PS4.
Really quickly, Serial Cleaners, sequel to the game where you play as the cleaner to a mob, and you have to clean up the crime scene without getting caught. Game is awesome, so I'm very excited for the sequel.
On September 23rd, DreamWorks Dragons Legend of the Nine Realms. Okay, on PS5, PS4. Proteus on PS5, PS4. And Sable comes out PS5, PS4. Hey, would you look at that?
A gorgeous game.
Yeah, very nice, very pretty. Now it's time for our favorite segment of the night. It comes from the Sony. Here comes the Sony Pony Express. Yeah, that's right. Joseph's off his rhythm. The coffee has run out. Matt Kim writes in, how do you feel about the whole, here it is, the Real Insider / Dan Allen gaming debacle? I wanted to hear your guys' unaltered thoughts. So if you guys don't know, over the weekend, Dan Allen Gaming, which is a YouTuber I've never heard of until today, was the man behind this one Twitter account called The Real Insider. They are the people that leaked out the Assassin's Creed stuff. They leaked out some Silent Hill stuff. But it turned out, because they accidentally, it's one of those things, when you have an old account, you accidentally tweet something that should have been for that account on another account. So Allen wrote back to someone when he should have been the insider, and he done goofed. It happens to me with the Trophy Room Twitter all the time. Yeah. I'll accidentally like something on the Trophy Room Twitter that I wanted to like on mine.
God. Don't Ted Cruz our PS Trophy Room account.
Yeah, did he like porn accounts or something?
Yeah,
right?
He 100% did.
And also like the Better Call Saul guy, he liked some feet stuff or something.
Yeah,
it's crazy. That's wild. Listen, I'm not here to kink shame, but like when you do it on your main account, it is funny. Yeah. I will laugh.
I think it's really wild to me that people have the need to have duplicate accounts for this kind of stuff.
Well, okay, so here's the thing about Dan Allen Gaming. It didn't make sense because it goes back to the previous thing of like, why did you do it? And it was just for Twitter clout. Like this man broke NDAs. That the reason why he knew anything about what was happening with the Assassin's Creed stuff was he was let in via the Ubisoft Insider program that they have for creator program that they have to go check out Assassin's Creed and talk about it. I think he was one of actually the guys on the stage.
That's wild.
Talking about how excited he was. And this man, just for attention, created a fake account or an alt account to spoil Assassin's Creed stuff.
Wild.
And then made up rumors for just Twitter clout. That is crazy. And there's and I don't mean this as like disrespect. I really hope this person gets help that they need.
Mm-hmm.
Because that is crazy that like you need attention that bad. Because to me, it's like, if it was for the growth of your channel, you would probably try to say it on your main channel, grow that.
Right? Yeah.
Like, you know, there are true insiders out there, like the Tom Hendersons of the world that are like, they know what they're talking about. Mm-hmm. Their predictions are spot on. And it is like, they know things, but sometimes they're under NDA and they don't talk about it. Like they choose a time and a place, and they've made their reputation of having such a great track record. And there are people like the Real Insider and even like the Snitch on Twitter, if you ever followed them, that these are just people behind the scenes, whether it's of YouTube or, you know, taking advantage of NDAs, that are leaking stuff. And
and that's the wild part with this in particular, is the NDA part.
Yeah.
Like, I hope that Dan Allen is like the first one to really be hammered down with this NDA, breaking an NDA.
Yeah.
I'm sure maybe it has happened and we haven't really heard about it, but like, It's wild to me that that's like a legally binding contract,
Mm-hmm.
and you're breaking it just so you can have some clout on social media. Is that really worth the consequences? I don't know.
Well, it's kind of like when like people like, I don't know, there are some people out there that they'll let it be known. Oh, I got this for free, guys. Got this. Look at me, guys. I'm just like you guys. I gotta go for this. Like, relax.
Yeah.
It's kind of like that as well. Like sometimes, yeah. Like for social posts, like right now today, there's a ton of creators. Like, look at the new, Logitech
Oh, the cloud thing. Yeah.
handheld. That's dumb. Take a look at. Like, fine, you signed a deal for that, and that's what you had to do to get it. But like to break it, to like let's just say you got it and then you just leaked it on some type of account for a Twitter, like.
Yeah.
Very, very. Like it's. I hate to say it, it's pathetic.
Yeah.
So again, I hope that guy gets the help he needs, because there's something deeper there, and I truly mean that. I don't want to be like a dick, because I know like some people are like, you just mean he needs help. The GMAC 99. Hey gentlemen, the incoming God of War PS5 trailer looks like such a slanger. Yes, GMAC, I like you, and I'm itching to scoop one up or three of them. What? Yeah, I like to party. I also hope that there will be matching PS5 plates to go along with it. That said, if you could get something from PlayStation Direct, yeah, that's a real question here. Could we actually?
I would love that.
That error on the screen. Why?
I would love to contact PlayStation support, but can't do that.
Had to pick a single style for your controller/plates to dress your PlayStation 5 for the rest of time, or until the PS6 or GTA 6 are released simultaneously, whichever comes first. What color scheme or game theme would it be, Joe? You have to pick something other than Bloodborne, you son of a gun. And anything but Mets colors for you, Kyle. Okay. For me, I'm going old school PS1 theme.
Ooh.
It's, oh, come on.
Yes.
I'm not going to read it.
It's a classic banger.
Damn it. Hope your week is better than it has been for the Rockstar devs. Honestly, the Rockstar devs had a field day compared to me. I'm going to be real, guys. It's been rough. What game would I pick? Spider-Man. Done.
Okay.
Or the Wolverine, and the side panels are ripped, but it's actually ripped.
I like
you know
that.
what I mean?
I like that. Yeah. You can see the Astrobots inside.
Yep.
Singing the GPU "I Do It For You" song.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's easy. It's The Last of Us.
Fair.
Just give me a really nice embossed side plate of Ellie's tattoo on one side, and then on the other side, the Firefly logo, and I'll be set.
Fair.
Yeah.
Una writes in, "Hey there, guys. Hope you're both doing well. I'm doing fan-freaking-tastic.
Hope you're doing well, Una.
So I'm in the middle of trying to get the Judgment plat, and it's going good, as I have to do the second playthrough now, which I'm moving along very nicely in.
Sweet.
My question this week goes back to a few weeks when Kyle said he was not going for the platinum inscription due to not wanting to do some of what the game or trophies were offering. So, brings me to my question. What plats have you guys given up on for any reason in particular? I got one, and I got a bone to pick.
Go for it.
Watch Dogs. That minigame. It's the worst.
Which minigame we talking?
So there's there's a pub you enter, and it's these weird pub games. I can't remember.
Oh, the drunk one?
Yeah. Could never do it. That was my last trophy I needed. Can't. It defeated me. That trophy is the worst. Whoever designed it, go to hell. You go to hell when you die.
Oh man, which one did I give up on? I'm on PSN profile, so just look.
Yeah. Try to get Diablo. That was a funny joke.
Oh,
impossible. There are some that it's just come on, guys. The most infamous, seriously, the Gears of War ones that get 10,000 kills or whatever. Come on. And then it just got harder as the iterations went on. Seriously 3.0. It's come on. Stop it. Knock it off.
Honestly, there are some that I thought were in those category, but I ended up getting.
Oh, like what?
Like Last of Us.
Okay.
or Returnal. I did not think I was going to get the Returnal plat.
Returnal's good. Returnal's fun.
Returnal's pretty good. Man,
like our game of the year.
Like, I gave up on Assassin's Creed Valhalla. I was like, there is no way.
Too big. Way too big.
Another really hard one that I did give up on, even though I love the game, is the Tony Hawk's Pro Skater remake. There's some really hard challenges to do in that one. I was like, I am not skilled enough. Maybe if trophies were a thing when I was little in the original games, I'd be able to do it, but I kind of lost those kind of skills.
Fair. This is the last question of the night. Comes to Stars Gecko, who writes, since Sony plans on to make free-to-play games, what kind of game would you hope that they will create? I think it would be a good idea for them to create their own COD-like game, just in case it goes into the next gen.
Kind of free-to-play game. I mean, honestly, I'm going to say it right here.
Go for it. Just
right now. The perfect free-to-play game for Sony PlayStation is a PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale game.
Yes.
It is the perfect free-to-play game for their brand. It just makes too much sense.
Yep.
They need it. For owning Evo now, they need it.
Oh, that makes actually a lot of sense. Shoot. Okay, I would agree with you there.
New games, new IPs come in and out. You add that character to the game. Like, look at how long Brawlhalla has lasted for Ubi. And they are constantly adding new characters to it, and that is also free to play.
Yeah, I think the only other game that would make sense for the free to play thing would be Twisted Metal.
Sure.
You know, you just take a look at how Rocket League's taken off. Yeah. Yes, you have Destruction All-Stars, blah, blah, insert joke here, whatever. Don't be mean. But like Twisted Metal makes sense. And if you could get that structure right the first time, which I think was one of the problems with Destruction All-Stars, was like, we didn't know how to purchase your game, you know?
Yeah.
Twisted Metal, man. That's the game to get or to make free to play.
Yeah.
That's it, Kyle. That's it. That's all the questions we got for this week's episode. Is there anything you'd like to spotlight before we get on out of here?
Sure, I'd like to spotlight myself, Mr. K-Step, on Twitter, PSN, all the things. Go follow all the indie games coverage that we do over at 61indie.com. That's SIXONEINDIE. And I will, before turning it over to Joe, I would very kindly like to ask you to nominate Joe and myself for the future class of gaming. For the Game Awards. I think it would be awesome to have us both a part of this year's class. I think we both deserve it, Joe more so than I, but I think it's going to be fantastic. It would be fantastic. So
yeah, I think links in the Twitter if you'd like to do it. Listen, I have some thoughts on the whole thing.
I know you have thoughts, but it would be cool.
It'd be neat. Who knows? There's a chance. Go out there.
Yeah.
Again, I think we have it. I'll post it one more time and then I'll be done with it. But yeah. You can follow me over at Mr. Badbit on Twitter. You can find the show over at PS Trophy Room. And please rate us 5 stars on Apple Podcasts, on Spotify. It really does help us out. We get more and more of them each and every week where we ask. It really does help us grow. It gets us on those charts. And it would mean the world. 5 stars helps us out. And if you really, really like the show, please support us over on patreon.com/PS Trophy Room. But as I as we exit out the show, I gotta say, I've been shushed 3 times. And I looked, I was like, why are people shushing me?
It's late.
As we're recording, it's 11:15. Yeah. I wake up in 5 hours to go to work.
Yeah.
So with all that said,
post show's gonna be like 2 minutes. See you later. How you doing? Bye-bye.
Keep your wits about you. Keep hunting. And keep playing PlayStation. See you guys.
Bye. Love you.